Forgiveness is one of those things which is really hard to give because you have been wronged, but even harder to attain when you have wronged, and also much easier to ask for when you have wronged. I believe that speaks to its importance. It's for that same reason Jesus came down to forgive. In order to reconcile us to the Father, he must first forgive us, even without us asking for it. There must first be forgiveness. Without it, relationships come to an end. They cease to exist in situations where one does wrong to the other. I believe it's a few months ago I came across a speech by Julius Malema in which he was talking about land appropriation without compensation, taking back land from the descendants of white settlers or colonizers without giving them anything in return. The logic is that if you catch somebody who stole your wallet, it's just to ask it back without giving them anything in return. Now, it will not seem appropriate for the thief to ask for payment before they can give you back the wallet they stole. And if life was that simple, if the reality was that simple, I would agree. But sadly, that is not the reality. I've had conversation prior to this speech with some people, family members. And I've used an illustration. I've used an illustration to make my point. The illustration goes like this. Picture yourself. Picture all human beings living in the kingdom of birds, as birds. And picture yourself also as a tiny bird, one of the tiny birds living on this nest upon this giant tree. And then you see this giant bird lands right next to your nest, angry, and it starts picking on your nest, even tossed you to the ground with your other fellow tiny birds. In that process, even maybe kill some of you. How do you see this kind of bird? And most of the people I've had a conversation with have said, well, that is not a good picture. Obviously, it's an evil bird. Like, yes, it's an evil bird. But what if this bird said to you, I am doing to you what your fathers or your forefathers did to my father, to me. I'm taking back what your forefathers stole from me. Is it now justified? Some would say, well, kind of, or no, still, it's an evil bird. It's doing exactly what my forefathers did to him or his people. And that is the end of the story. That sums up the idea of Julius Malema. Not every reality is captured in every metaphor. Land is not a wallet. Jonas, why are you talking about politics? Why are you talking about Malema, land appropriation? You should be talking about heaven, clouds. Well, I live in this world. The laws that my leaders, your leaders make can also impact me. And I've seen also how this idea is cherished among my people. They share the sentiments of Julius Malema. That is all rooted in resentment, in unforgiveness, bitterness. When you listen to Julius Malema, he's always talking about what the colonizers, the apartheid regime did to him and his mother. So much of what he says is coming from that place. Do I acknowledge some of the things which the man stands for? Absolutely. I'll be an ignorant to ignore or to dismiss everything that he stands for. But on this one issue, maybe a few more others, I am opposed. It's very much easy for people to say, we have forgiven, but we cannot forget. Who does forget the wrongdoings? That is written on our soul. You cannot forget things that people have done to you, but have you forgiven? Whether you have forgiven or not is pictured in the way you treat these people, in the way you talk to these people. Oftentimes, people can easily say, well, I don't hold grudges. I have forgiven this person. But I'll tell you, don't always believe what people say. Believe what they show you. Because the mouth can be really deceiving. People can say with their lips, I repent, I forgive. But their actions are contrary to what they have said. How do you treat these people whom you say you have forgiven? Do you avoid them if you see them in the distance? Or do you greet them? Do you talk to them? If they are in your neighborhood, or you go to where they live, maybe not to them exactly, but do you visit them as you used to? I believe when we do these things, it's very much easier for us to forgive and also to heal ourselves.